to do, like just tell stories, like
because it invites people out of their isolated intellects, of the insulated worlds in which we build and construct through thought and conditioned experiences. That's the power of culture, because it creates larger social frameworks. Because everybody, like when you and I get in our cars and we go home and we do our things, we have our little world. But a story, everybody steps into the same headspace. When somebody says once upon a time, suddenly you see what they're talking about. It's the beauty of human consciousness. It's like how, bees are doing their own thing until that motherfucker comes in and dances. And then everybody in the hive knows where that honey and pollen is. I love that shit. It's like creatures, consciousness has found a way of like collecting, creating hive connectedness. Mm-hmm. So I think probably because I was such an outsider as a child, and I knew how to make them laugh, and my family would just roar, and I would just come up with shtick and wigs and mops and that would connect everybody, because I just want connection. And I think that's part of my spiritual.
Do you think that having those instilling the sense of connection or communitas, is something that is reflective of like a world peace,
absolutely. The only reason the world is at war is because of confusion about what the world is.
And what is the world?
It's the canvas. It's whatever we paint that bitch to be.
Yeah.
And it can be a bitch, or it can be a wondrous wonderland.
Do you think it's so using the birth of a nation as an example of how you can articulate or like help people
vision?
So that like
an ideology,
right? So like what would the opposite look like, right? Like I know that superhero movies try to do it or whatever, but they're always focusing on such far-fetched scenarios instead of like
the toxicity of the superhero mythology is that it equally focuses on the villain the way that Birth of a Nation does.
Right. And it's such a like a siloed approach to storytelling.
Yes.
It's just like very like unrelatable in a sense.
Yes. That's why the First Nations, they didn't have a devil. They had the trickster, Coyote. He's a trickster.
And everything was your relative. Even the trickster.
Including Coyote.
Yeah.
And who's there to teach us too.
Yeah.
Or we're here to teach Coyote a lesson too. There's that tension of this, but it's more of a sibling rivalry than it is a cosmic epic battle for who's right.
Right. And like, remember earlier today when I was talking about how like we all embody like those archetypes, like, especially creatives, like they embody a lot of different archetypes, and how we need to come to like meet them as equals, not as superior or inferior. And you did that, like you met all yours yesterday, or
invited them over for fucking tea. Yes, Balrog, have a seat. Here you go, honey.
Yeah.
Tell me everything.
And then you go plant your garden.
I think world peace is the absence of villainy. It's the absence of the perception of who is a villain.
You hear that? I got that on video.
Oh my God! You did it to me this time. This taste of culture was brought to you by years of therapy.